Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how to customize your syntax for a specific language. Now, I'm using the paper color theme here, paper color light, and with Rust it looks really good, but there are certain things that I'd like to stand out a little more. I either like to go basically no syntax coloring, or if I'm going to have it, then I want certain things to stand out. The first thing that we have here is this attribute sitting here, and it's a little bit too light for me. I'd like that to really be, a little darker and stand out a little bit more. And so what I need to do is find out how to get at that color and how to get at that particular symbol or that particular identifier in the syntax file for Rust so that I can change the color. Now, I'm already using paper color light, which supports Rust, but there are certain things that I want to have specific, and I've heavily customized my paper color, and I only want these changes for Rust. So, what can I do? Well, the first thing I need to do is pull up the rust.vim syntax file that comes with the rust.vim plugin so that I can find out how I can get at these things. So we'll go in here and let's see. I want syntax. Okay, yep, that is them. Oh, great. I want to change attribute to be a little bit darker, and so I'm assuming somewhere in here we have attribute. All right, and this looks like it's probably it here, which is this region in Rust attribute. So I'm going to want this particular identifier here. I'll grab that. Now, the next thing that I need to do is create my own syntax file in my after folder on my runtime path. So, well, say after, and then syntax, syntax, and we'll call this rust.vim because it needs to be the same name as the language or the file type that you're looking for. I know that I want Rust attribute. What I want to do is set the highlight color for this, and I need to use one of the 256 colors available. And right now, as we saw, I have this kind of light blue here, and I want it to be more dark blue. What I can do is, looks like, I think maybe 19, 18, maybe something dark blue, navy blue, maybe 18. Okay, so try that. And what we can do here is you just say hi for highlight, and I'll show you where to find this stuff. And then cterm FG. And then what I say, I wanted 18. Okay, so now we have this after syntax file for Rust. Now I can test this. Let's first take a look again at the syntax. So you see that it's this light blue. So now let's go over here, and I'm going to source this file, and I'm just using the shorthand for source with SO, and % will do it for this file. Okay, so now let's take a look. All right, so this is darker now. I like the way that looks. That's really nice. Okay, so that is an improvement on that. That stands out more to me. So the next thing that I want to do is find the Rust macro, and look at that, I can see it right there. Okay, so all I need, I think, is Rust macro and to set the color the same way we just did with the other one. So let's do that. And so what I'll do here is macro. I'll show you why I want to change Rust macro in a second here. But I want it to be red. Do I really want red 9? Or maybe like a maroon, like really dark. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and I'll save this, but I won't source it yet. And you can see talking about here with the actual macros. So if I go here, and you can see that this doesn't really stand out. You sort of expect macros to come out, completely different. You see red a lot, and that really helps it stand out from other symbols. I mean, yeah, it's a slightly different color, but and I want this to apply to both when they end with the exclamation point and when you are actually using macros, within the code here. So you can see here this pound symbol. I want anything that's specifically macro-y like that to be red. So let's go back over and source this file. Okay, and alright, you see, this makes a huge difference. You can really see the macros here. One other thing that was bothering me is this here. Self is dark green, and that's fine, but self here is orange, and that's because the types, the built-in types, are set to this color through the color scheme, and so that also impacts, let's see if we have any, what else do we have here? We have a stir. Let's find, there we go. Okay, so you can see, or you probably have trouble seeing that this is dark green, but that's difficult to see. So for the built-in types, including self and stir and the different integers and things like that, I'd like that to just all be orange and kind of stand out there so I know when I'm dealing with a built-in type. Let's go back over to the syntax file here and see where is their type. I want built-in type. I forget what that's called there. Oh, Rust type. Okay, that is probably it. So Rust type. Yep, that looks like. No, let's keep going here. That's for those. There we go. Okay, Rust type. Yeah, and this has our built-in types here, including self and stir, which is what I want. So for this, I would like it to be orange like the self in there. That might not be completely how it should be, but that's what I want, and I get to do what I want. So let's change this to type and C term FG. Okay, and I want orange. Let's see over here. Is there a dark one? I want it to match the one that I saw, and I think that's pretty dark, like 130 maybe. Let's see what else we have here. Alright, we'll try 166. I think that seems probably pretty close. So 166. Okay, and just going back here, you can see here that stir is dark green, and so we'll source this file. And now you can see that stir is orange there. Kind of funny with the bold ampersand in that, but let's go see this. Okay, good. So this now is there, and that comes together nicely. I like that. And then if I'm down here, yeah, and then so for built-in types, that'll be good. All right. Now, the other thing here that sort of bothers me a little bit, because it just doesn't catch my eye enough, and if you're going to have some colors, then you want to have some more colors, and that is if you go down here, you can see that these braces for function calls or parens, they're just black like the rest of the stuff. Now, you see in other languages where a function and the parentheses will be colored. Now, I don't want that. I don't want colors everywhere, but I do want parentheses colored, and I do want matching braces to be colored. You know, these are just black, or they might be super dark green. You can't really tell. And I want these to stand out a little more, especially the parentheses. So this is not Rust specific, so there isn't necessarily, any symbol to grab out of the syntax file. But I happen to know this one, and that is syn match paren. And then I think that we want, okay, and then what we want to do here is get both of the, we want to match open and closing parens and opening and closing curly braces, curly brackets, whatever that debate rages on. And then I do want to set, I want this to be kind of a more blue than you can see now. It's just black. I want it to be a blue that I can see. So it doesn't really come out, but it's enough to catch my eye when I'm looking across things, when you forget to put those parens in, and that's something that is easy to notice. Of course, the linter is going to yell at me, and the LSP is going to yell at me, but I think that'll be helpful. Okay, so we're going to need to say parens here, and then what I'm going to do is find a decent blue. I'm always looking for excuses to use Dodger blue, but I don't. Oh yeah, that's really tempting. But I think I'll actually go with this deep sky blue, I think, because I want it to be pretty dark still. I don't want it to really come at me, and this might be a little bit too light. So let me try 31 here. Okay. Oop. FG. Yeah, okay. Oop. Oh, I can't type. Okay, so, alright, so looking at the curly braces now. Okay, and if we find a decent, yeah. Okay, so let's go back over and source this baby. Okay. And for some reason that did not work. Okay, well, now this one's a match as opposed to the let's see, sin match paren, and I've got those guys in 31. I did source this, right? Okay. And yeah, I don't see the difference there. Now that could be because it has to run the match, and so this file is going to have to fully reload, possibly. I think that's probably the problem here. Alright, so that's fine. Well, we'll just quit out of all this, and we'll open this back up. And I still am not seeing these light blue guys that I would expect to see, and so I'm doing something wrong here. Oh. Aha. Okay. Parens. You see, spelling. Important. Okay, but I still don't see my change here, so let's see if I have to get out for this like I was thinking. Aha, yes. Okay, so if we do this, now we can see that we have a light blue for parens, and then same with the curly braces. So that looks really good. So now when you combine all three of those, we are looking pretty good. So let's sum this up here. What you want to do is go into your Vim runtime path, and in after syntax, you can see here, after syntax, create a rust.vim file. Okay, and this is where you'll put your syntax information, and this will get picked up, and this will override your theme. So you can do this for whatever language you want. You can change things. So that works out pretty well. Now, where you can learn about this stuff is here if you do help syntax. And one thing to note here is that I'm fully switched to neovim. There's almost nothing left in my vimrc, but I'm still using the OG Vim runtime path instead of putting things in config nvim.vim and then after. But what you could be doing with nvim, and I only have a nitvim and a couple other things in there, you can do the same thing, whereas I just used .vim folder at the root. You can do config nvim after, so that we are overriding the files from the actual syntax file. So if we were creating a syntax file, we'd put it at up here at syntax, but because we want to have our syntax override the theme, we want to have it here and then add the language on. And so you can do it there or do it where I did it. So if you're using regular Vim, then you'll want to use .vim, and for neovim you can do either, because if you originally were a Vim user and you migrated and you're still using that runtime path, then you're picking up both paths, this one under config nvim and the one under .vim. So either way, I need to continue to migrate that stuff. So definitely check that out. All right, one last bonus thing. You might have noticed that I'm getting completion here in a .vim file, and that is because I've come full circle here. And so I'll show you how I'm getting this, because it can be really helpful when you're updating your Vim files, if you're writing plugins or just updating your configurations. It's pretty useful. So let me show you how you go about getting that. So first, you can see here that I have this FT plugin vim. Oh yes, I know. There was a release within the last couple days of neovim nightly where older undo files are no longer valid. So as I hit new files that I haven't been in, it will give me that warning. And then as soon as I save, then a proper undo file will be created, and then you won't see that problem anymore. So that's expected. It's a breaking change. And so you'll see that if you get neovim nightly from sometime in the last couple of days, the date of this video being published. So you can put all kinds of things that you might want in your vim.vim file here in your FT plugin. One of the things that I like to do is if I'm executing something, I like to do local leader 1. And so I'll use it a lot for specific files to execute some kind of code. When you're working on plugins, one way to execute code is to echo out values, and then what you do is you resource the file, and when you do that and your code gets called, you get to see the printed out statements. And so I have this set in here, but this is not the important thing here. The important thing here, and you see here, same thing with the incompatible undo file, but that's to be expected. So if you happen to see that and you saw my video, good, then you won't have to worry about Googling it. You should expect that, but once you save, a new one will be started and you are good to go. So let's go down here, and you can see that I've come full circle on Vim configuration. I'm using Lua to require the Viml LSP. So that's how I'm getting completion in my .vim files, because I'm using a Vim script or Viml language server, and it's just this line of code here. And then I also happen to have set up that file type plugin so I can start putting in little custom things there. But yeah, this is all that is. But it's pretty humorous because I'm using Lua to require the language server for the Vim script. And so things have come full circle. Pretty soon I will probably go full Lua. That seems to be the direction things are going, and I've already pretty much don't really backwards support Vim anymore. So I'm almost fully migrated, and so why not switch to Lua and get some of the really good power there. So I'm looking into that. Anyways, that's how that's happening. I hope this is helpful for you. It's very easy to update syntax specifically for your needs, and I appreciate you watching. And all this is leading up to a series of Rust videos that are intermediate to advanced and real world, and they are in the works. So thank you for watching. Have a great day. See you next time.